Get started, right? Well, great. We'll get started this evening. We've got the first thing on our agenda. We've got Ken Setzcorn here from Mid American to uh, present the city with a check. So why don't you explain what's going on here? And
Will do. Thanks, Josh. Hi, everyone. I'm Ken Setzcorn with Mid American Energy, and the city had a great project, the Municipal Services Center 2 project, and we used our design team of OPM architects and IMEG Group Corporation, actually helping to make the building as energy efficient as they could and still make it functionable. As it turned out, you're able to make the building actually use about half what a building code building would actually look like. I'll show this check first of all to the behind because it's not really a physical check, but rather it's a partnership check. Kind of looking at here, partnering together, and I'll point this around for the camera just a minute. Partnering together, Mid-American Energy and the City of Des Moines, and actually the check itself, which physically delivered them, $434,907, and through our commercial new construction energy efficiency program. And the other critical link to this is that the ongoing annual savings is estimated to be $145,000. So that's kind of neat. You know, you had to do it more, have more energy efficient buildings, but by the same token, one well. So we appreciate that part. Get further help, other folks. Again, with that in mind, I don't know, for photo op.
yeah,
Any questions?
Well-
Right. Thank
but the check.
Inquiring minds to know. Yeah, we've been.
All right, it is 4:51, and we have Municipal Housing Agency Governing Board meeting. So with that, I will call that meeting to order and ask the clerk to take roll.
Mandelbaum,
Here.
Bozen,
Here.
Voss,
Here.
Shoemaker,
Here.
Westergaard, here. Gatto.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great. Item 2 is approving the agenda as presented and/or as amended.
Move.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded.
Six yes.
Item 3 is approving the Des Moines Municipal Housing Agency, DMMHA, revised payment standards, board communication number 22-507.
Move.
Second.
Move in second. Any discussion?
Just got the clarification since this morning that we are going up on that payment standard, so I'm happy to vote yes on that.
Great.
Six yes.
And then item 4, I'll take a motion.
Move.
To adjourn. Bring you a vote on that.
Voice vote.
Voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, we
The
have
Municipal Housing Agency Governing Board is adjourned. All right. I'm going to get us started a little early. And I wanted to just offer an explanation. You've got me here tonight running the meeting. The mayor is participating and representing the city and our country over at COP in incredibly important climate discussions. And so we're grateful that our mayor is able to participate and represent us. For those of you who didn't join in at 4:45, we had a presentation that ties in nicely to our climate efforts, which is with our Municipal Service Center. We took advantage of Mid-American's energy efficiency programs and are going to be saving our city residents $145,000 a year in energy costs with the work that we did to make that building energy efficient. And that ties in to the work that we do. That is something that is replicable across our city. And we've been working to do that in our city buildings. When we incentivize new buildings, we ask as a requirement that they work to save energy in much the same way. And with our building benchmarking ordinance, we're working to identify additional savings opportunities for buildings throughout our community. And the hope is that by saving money on energy, those dollars can be put back in pockets and put to better use while also taking some steps to participate in our climate action and the things that we can do to have an impact on climate change. So that's a nice little tie-in, and hope the mayor is having a good trip and productive discussions because it's an important piece. And with that, I'll turn it over to the city clerk to take roll.
Mandelbaum,
Here.
Boson,
Here.
Voss,
Here.
Shoemaker,
Here.
Westergaard, Gatto.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Item 2 is approving the agenda as presented.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Six yes.
Item 3 is approving the consent agenda, which tonight are items 3 through 34. On item number 28, Councilmember Shoemaker votes no. And as a reminder, these are routine items that will be enacted by one roll call vote without separate discussion. Unless pursuant to council rules, council requests an item to be removed to be considered separately.
Move approval.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded.
Six yes.
And with that, we'll turn to our hearings. As a reminder, for those items where public comment is not taken, or to convey information generally to the council or the city manager, Des Moines residents are encouraged to submit letters or emails, texts, or phone calls with additional comments or information to ensure they are sharing information they would like to be shared. This evening, we have 3 vacation hearings, 3 urban renewal hearings, 1 design hearing, and 1 HUD hearing. For the design hearing this evening, the applicant will be provided up to 5 minutes of comments on the application. Thereafter, any interested person may make germane comments at not to exceed 1 minute per person to a maximum of 5 minutes per hearing, unless the hearing is ended sooner for failure to make germane public comments or when comments cease. For the urban renewal hearings this evening, any interested person may make comments not to exceed 1 minute per person. For the other hearings this evening, any interested person may make germane comments at not to exceed 1 minute per person to a maximum of 5 minutes per hearing, unless the hearing is ended sooner. And with that, we'll turn to item 36. Item 36 on vacation of alley right-of-way located at 601 East University Avenue within Burke Park and dedication of the property as parkland. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above. B is final consideration of the ordinance above. Waiver is requested by Ben Page. Parks and Recreation Director and requires 6 votes. Council? Oh, sorry. Yep, thank you. Any comments from the public? No, seeing none, we have a motion and a second.
Six, yes.
Item 37, on vacation of East Jefferson Avenue right-of-way and conveyance, along with additional excess city property, all located south of and adjoining 1700 Dixon Street, to JSB Fantair LLC for $5,000. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above. Do we have any comments from the public?
Move item 37 and group 40. Wait,
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
Six, yes.
Item 38, on vacation of East Jefferson Avenue right-of-way adjoining 1626 Dixon Street, 1730 East Washington Avenue, and 1637 East 17th Street, and conveyance of a portion of said vacated street right-of-way to Liberty Holdings, Inc., $13,725, continued from the October 3rd, 2022 council meeting. Item A is the first consideration of the ordinance above. B is final consideration of the ordinance above, waiver requested by Liberty Holdings, Inc., and requires 6 votes. With that, I'll open it to members of the public.
none. I'll move item.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded.
Six, yes.
Item 39, on the proposed second amendment to the urban renewal plan for the Oak Park Highland Park urban renewal area. Council communication number 22-515. We'll open it to the public for comment.
None, I'll move.
Second.
Item 39's been moved and seconded.
Six, yes.
Item 40, on the proposed third amendment to the urban renewal plan for the 38th and Grand urban renewal area. Council communication number 22-517. A is the first consideration of ordinance 38th and Grand, TIF District number 3. And
Should be B.
C or B?
It should be B.
We'll correct that to B. Final consideration of the ordinance above. Waiver requested by Mike Ludwig, Interim Development Services Director. Requires 6 votes.
I'll move approval of 40A and B.
Second.
Moved and seconded. No public comment. Thank you.
Six, yes.
Item 41, on the proposed urban renewal plan for the Southeast 14th Street urban renewal area. Council communication number 22-516. A is the resolution of necessity for the Southeast 14th Street urban renewal area. And with that, we'll open it to the public for comment.
I see none, Your Honor. I appreciate staff finally getting this to the finish line. Appreciate their hard work and legal. And Scott, I know your leadership has helped get us to this point, and I will happily move 41 and 41A.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded.
6 yes.
Item 42, on appeal by First Assembly of God Church, Jeffrey Ostrander, officer, of denial of a Type 2 design alternative for a site plan, Reach Church building and site improvements for property at 2725 Merle Hay Road. Choose one alternative below, A, to deny, or B, to approve. And with that, do we have the applicant or any members of the public?
Jeff Ostrander, 2725 Merle Hay Road. My role with the church is I serve as executive pastor at the church, and our church has been on Merle Hay Road since the 60s, and we haven't done any real updating since the 80s. And so we're planning some renovations. The project, you've read the packet, but the project is approximately a $10 million project, some extensive renovation to the interior. We're happy that we're adding some fire suppression, an elevator, some of those things to make our building safer. We're doing a significant amount of scope of work to the exterior, painting and wood treatment to modernize the appearance and enhance the curb appeal. Our project did require a site survey. As you know, we don't do these things often, so that was a bit of a surprise to us. We learned that we need to do some landscaping and some trash enclosures and medians, those kinds of things. Minimally, it was an extra $250,000 to $500,000 added to the project with the site survey requirements. There's just this one outstanding issue, the screening of rooftop units before you tonight. My understanding that there's two purposes for the screening: to abate auditory impact and to help with visual impact. For the auditory, just would say that there's no distinguishable sound level change when you're outside our building and those units come on and off. We did that. We have an engineer here tonight that can speak to that more intelligibly than me. And the visual impact, we've been working with city staff, and we're happy to paint the units the color of the sky, the color of the building, whatever would camouflage it, if you will, and help it to blend into the environment. We currently have 12 rooftop units. We're adding an additional 4 to the building in the project. They'll be offset.
What's the additional cost to screen them?
Our estimate is, the early estimate was $120,000. We're hearing $150,000 now. And, percentage of the project, it's a small amount. I saw the staff's comment there. And that's a fact. Also a fact is we'd much rather spend $150,000 in improving the building on the inside and serving our city.
The $120,000 was 1.2% of the total project cost, so $150,000 would be, assuming 1.5%.
That's correct.
Just for clarity purposes, is Reach Church the same church that was there previously? It just changed the name, or?
Yeah. The First Assembly of God Church name that's up there was our name since 1943. We changed to Reach Church legally. It's been about a year and a half ago now.
Gotcha. So when you say you've been there, it's not a new church that came there a year and a half ago. It's the same church.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Could, is staff here to answer questions?
Just give them a second with the
Sure.
delay.
I just heard you out in the hall.
Sure. So, from the staff's standpoint, and this went to P&Z also, right?
Correct.
And so their recommendation was to deny?
Correct.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, Michael Ludwig, Deputy Director of Development Services for the city. Yes, they went to the Planning Commission, appealed the administrative option that was provided to them by staff, appealed that to the Planning Commission. Planning Commission upheld the planning staff's recommendation. There are alternatives that were presented administratively to reduce the amount of screening that's required on the rooftop, limiting number of units based on visibility, exact visibility from the corridors and from the neighbors. So I believe that the price that they're quoting is to screen the entire rooftop, which was not what staff had proposed.
So screening it from Merle Hay would be adequate, or
There were
2 or 3 sides? or-
There's 12 pieces of equipment on the roof right now. They're adding 4 more. So to say there wouldn't be any on the backside, there are some that face the residential neighborhood to the east. And so there were photos in the packet that showed different views from the east property line as well as, I believe, on Merle Hay. So again, we'd offered the option of only screening the equipment that was visible from those locations. And they chose to go ahead and appeal to the Plan and Zoning Commission all of the screening requirements.
Well, so the HVAC screening has been, we've had other appeals to waive that, and so it's a commercial building, or so I guess this would be a commercial building, right? Or, I mean, it's a religious institution, but there's not a special
There's no
waiver.
exemption for churches to screen the equipment.
So have the neighbors, Mike, always seen the units, or we're adding additional units that now they're going to see more of? Is that, but they've been there since 1960, these units have been on the roof, right?
Yeah, I don't know when all of the units have been added on the
But
roof at various times, but there's 12 up there today, and they're adding 4 more.
Sure.
And then we would look at the ones that are either present today or the new ones and look at where they're located on the roof plan, and then look at the visibility from the adjoining residential and from the commercial, or Merle Hay, and then ask for appropriate screening at that time. That was the option that was presented.
Has the neighbors ever complained about the rooftops being able to notice them?
I don't know if we've gotten any complaints.
Well, we would know. We can ask Sue Ann.
So the scope of the project is what triggered staff to become involved and to bring up the requirements of screening, as they weren't previously required, but with that this much of an update, there's a new requirement, and with 4 more units, there's a new requirement.
Yeah, the
If
the
we
trigger
were-
on this was exceeding 50% of the assessed value with the improvements. So
Yes.
the $10 million project probably is the largest project that will ever be done on the church.
If we were to deny, staff would only be requesting screening, not necessarily on all 4 sides of every single unit, but screening where necessary.
If you deny their request, yes, we would continue to work with them on the alternative that was presented. If you approve the request, no screening would be required.
What's the alternative?
Again, we talked with them about not screening all the equipment, just the equipment that was specifically visible from the residential neighborhood and the Merle Hay Road.
So is the applicant still?
I do have a question for Mike. Does screening cut down on noise?
Well, anything that surrounds the equipment would direct sound upwards. So yes, I would say that it would direct the sound away from residential properties as well.
Okay. I just know, I'm familiar with a building in my neighborhood that they're not screened and they're quite loud.
And that is the purpose of, like, part
Screening
of
is
the
visible,
purpose.
and,
For
but
sound.
yes, anything around the equipment that would block that sound from
It's
going
gonna go
horizontal would
up
direct it up.
and not into the neighborhood.
So has any of the neighbors ever complained?
I don't know if there have been complaints.
There is a note in the agenda item from a resident who lives on the backside of the church that says there is a noise, and I would hope that the noise would not get worse. So that's not necessarily a complaint previously, but it is a,
Yeah, I just wondered if we've had previous complaints
I
about
don't know.
noise from the rooftop units.
And even if we had, we didn't have a trigger to impose this until the
Correct.
application.
Until the site plan trigger.
Go, Josh.
I was just going to ask, for point of reference, this is a $10 million project. If this was entirely new construction on this site, we would expect screening of this nature.
Correct.
So, Mike, when we struggled with this with South Side Jethro's, one of the issues was the screening on the original roof, and they were, as presented to us, it was the extra load because of snow. They were concerned about that. Is that an issue here or not?
They've not submitted any documentation indicating
Okay.
that that's a problem in this instance. So,
Okay.
I know on the Jethro's, for example, I think that was actually a parapet that was extending up on the side of the wall, and that it was load-bearing question.
Okay.
So snow load. On this, there's been nothing submitted that I'm aware of that's indicated it's not structurally capable of accommodating it. Mhm.
Can I ask the applicant a question?
Go ahead.
Have you've obviously had the alternative, what they're asking you to do. Are you not in agreement with any of that, or?
I don't think I'm clear on what the alternative was.
That's what I wondered.
Yeah,
So that hasn't been explained clearly to anybody?
not to my understanding. I would just say that. That doesn't mean that it didn't happen.
You aren't probably involved in all
I haven't been directly involved. The architect is here, and we do have one of our other engineers here. I did just want to answer the question about noise, the neighbor. I know her, we're good friends. It was a youth event that we had a city permit for that went until 8 o'clock at night. She gets up at 3 to work, and it was a little loud for her, and I think she said that in her.
She
So it's not
mentioned,
related to rooftop units at all.
she mentioned noise from events as well, but she also mentioned after some correspondence that there is a noise from the rooftop units, but that she thinks that she's used to it because she's lived there for so long, but she would hope it would not get worse.
Okay. So I was going to just answer the question about complaints. I'm not.
I just would like to know who has the information about the alternative, and what are you guys in agreement upon?
I'd like to respond on the noise. My name is Jim Cooper. I am a registered mechanical engineer with the state. Have been doing work in the Des Moines area for 40 years, and I also served on the State Plumbing Mechanical Board. I have an octave-band analyzer, and I went around and turned the units to mechanical cooling and took sound readings at the property lines, and there was one unit that registered about 45 dBA. It was hard to settle it exactly because birds, noise from Merle Hay, and even wind was affecting the reading. But every other unit on the building that was on the roof, I could not even get a sound reading on because they're not that big of units.
Well, I wouldn't think so. If you have 12 units up there and you're adding 4 more, that building's, I mean, it's big, but it's not that big.
Right, and they're relatively small units.
Yeah.
I would add one more thing on the screening too. If you look at the pictures, the units are small enough that they basically look like boxes.
Yeah, I see that.
And so if we do screening, what we're really doing is making a bigger box in the roof that would just make it more noticeable. Thank you.
So, question, have you seen the alternative plan? Is your engineer, architect, can he answer that? You can or you can't?
I can't answer what the alternatives were, but I can tell you why we don't know what they are. Skylar Phelps with Mantel Teeter Architects out of Kansas City, Missouri. The reason why we're before you today is the church wanted to get a determination from this governing body as to whether what we were proposing to paint the units would be acceptable or not before we had detailed conversation with staff about some middle-of-the-road solution that would be acceptable. If you ask us to go back and do that, we'd certainly be willing to do so. Staff's been very cooperative throughout this whole process. We've enjoyed working with them. I'm here today to communicate what we believe to be a situation, a special situation related to this project where we believe there's no real appreciable benefit to the church spending an additional $150,000 to screen units, particularly from the Merle Hay side of road, that if you've driven by there and you look back at the church, many of those units sit so far back into the middle of the building that your field of view only gives you a view of a foot and a half of some of these units. So we just wanted to have an opportunity to present that to you for for your thoughtful consideration and determination. And if there are additional steps we need to take, we'll certainly be willing to do that. Thank you.
What is the speed limit on Merle Hay? Is it
Before-
40?
But they go 70.
Could be 20 in there.
I have an unrelated question, but if you were here at the beginning, you might know what it is. And I'm just curious, since you're adding some new units and doing a major renovation, are you working with Mid-American on energy efficiency rebates or any efficiency upgrades as part of the project?
The number of units we're adding are relatively small, and the rebates from Mid-American Energy have been reduced drastically in the last number of years. Really, the only rebate that we would possibly go for is the fact that we're getting rid of a control air compressor, and they do give a rebate for that. But other than that, that is it. We are using high-efficiency equipment, but they've reduced their program drastically over the last number of years.
Do we have any more public comment? I think we didn't get to that.
We can open it up to the broader public if there's anyone else here who wishes to make a comment. If not,
Seeing none, I would move 42A and ask y'all to go back and talk to staff and figure out, which sides need to be screened. I don't think that painting them deals with the sound concern, and so I'd move 42A.
And I appreciate, and I know you're the ward councilman, and I typically would go along with that, and it's probably not going to matter how I vote on this, but I'll just tell you, these units have been on this roof since 1960, and the neighbors have been around these things. Putting screening around it, they're absolutely right. When you drive down the road, you're going to look over and see boxes above there where you would know that there's units, but now we're going to build boxes above it. I think the screening is the wrong thing to do, especially when you consider a building like this that sits way back from the road. I'm sure it'll pass, but I'm not gonna support. And furthermore, some of these code changes with the rehab of these buildings, I would encourage all of us to take a look at it because they're a little much.
I would want to clarify, just with the additional units, we don't really know what the effect is going to be with 4 additional units. I think that's more of my concern, so staff can have those conversations and figure out what's necessary if this passes. But I'm not here in a second, so.
do we have a second?
I'll second.
4 yes, 2 no. Yes. Does that have supermajority?
No,
Does that have supermajority?
I do
I
not
don't think it
so.
does.
Motion carries.
You can't even see it.
Allowed for more discussion after. Item 43 is on the proposed 2023 action plan as part of the 2020 to 2024 consolidated plan for submission to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, Council Communication number 22-512. We'll open it to the public for any comment.
Seeing no comment, I would like to just discuss a couple things that are in this plan. Primarily the roughly 1.7 million that we are allocating to neighborhood code enforcement. Listed under affordable housing as there's not specifically a category for it. I believe we are overspending in this category. We have less allocated to actual affordable housing, rehab, building, new construction. And I would encourage us to reconsider this. Specifically, a lot of what is listed as the proposed activities for this code enforcement funding is in junk and debris cleanup, not in actual like code enforcement on the condition of housing. And my concern is that it's not actually meeting our goal of increasing affordable housing or maintaining our current affordable housing if it's not focused on those specifically. I would reconsider and look at this specifically in our lack of funding for non-congregate family shelter. We heard this morning from Homeward that we've got 76 families on the wait list for emergency shelter right now, and a reallocation of this money into emergency family shelter could solve part of that problem. If we wanted to reallocate it into rehab or building affordable housing, right now we've got 42 households that we've money allocated to help 42 households with either rehab, payment assistance, or building new units. We could double that number with this funding. If we wanted to keep it in code enforcement, I would ask that we would make the focus specifically on rental inspection and enforcement on vacant property, and then on ION evaluations to actually focus on the housing stock so that we are increasing our efforts in maintaining our affordable housing stock in the city. But as it stands, I'm not supportive of our allocation for the code enforcement and specifically what the goal is listed as.
We have staff present that could maybe address some of what Councilmember Shoemaker has raised.
Good evening, Council. Lisa Krabs. I'm the Federal Funds Administrator with the Neighborhood Services Department. So your first, I'm going to go with the easy one first. Affordable housing as the category for code enforcement. That's just really a functional thing. When we submit our plan to HUD, there's only 5 categories. And so affordable housing covers a really large span of activities. The other categories or goals include public services, public infrastructure, economic development, and homelessness. So that's why code enforcement, there's a logic behind it, but there's no explanation otherwise. So that's the easy one. And then you wanted me to address what specifically about the code enforcement part?
Really, it's just that I think that I would prefer, if we're going to keep the funding in code enforcement, that we are focusing specifically on rental, ION, and, and vacant property, so that we are spending that money actually maintaining the housing stock, while right now the listed goals are primarily junk and debris and vehicle impound, I believe.
So is that something that type of reallocation can be done? And
I'm not actually even sure that all those elements would qualify, so we'd have to
We have other programs for what she's talking, what
So
Councilmember Shoemaker's talking about. I mean, we have other programs that are some of the things that she's suggesting that we.
So for ION, for example, ION, we've allocated $250,000 of CDBG to ION, but then the city's general budget, I believe, has $1 million allocated to that. And just, our department, we work with ION. We're different divisions, but we're the same department. So we kind of have a loose agreement. We just go back and forth where they keep telling us they need more money. So we're going to say, okay, well, we'll talk about it. So I don't think from an allocation standpoint with ION, that's going to be an issue. If they need more money, we'll definitely consider it. I think the issue at hand, that's the bigger picture, is reallocating anything from code enforcement otherwise. That, I would say, is going to take a larger conversation. It's not something we can just do today, because I know there's other general fund implications, but also this has been a stable program for so long. We've gotten public input on the consolidated plan, so the idea was back in 2019, we did a large public input session with our nonprofit providers, the public, all sorts of things that we have to go through for HUD, and it's a very extensive process. And so we kind of set up at that time what our 5-year plan is going to be, including this code enforcement activity. So we would probably have to do a substantial amendment, which from our end, we can do it. It's fine. But it does change the timeline. We have to go through another public input process and look at how it affects, all these other.
I would just add too that really what I hear is your priority would be to to do less junk and debris removal.
My priority is to spend CDBG funding on maintaining the affordable housing stock or increasing the affordable housing stock, and I don't believe that that's what we're doing with this allocation.
But to move that allocation would require us to use general fund monies for the debris and junk removal. So
Potentially to move some money around, yes, but we can also be just refocusing our code enforcement, if that's what that means, is refocusing our code enforcement on stronger like rental and vacant property and ION like not enforcement, but evaluations.
I could just add, we already have pretty strong rules in place for rentals. We have more control over rentals than we do on owner-occupied. The calls I get are for junk and debris in owner-occupied houses. I'm not going to be in favor of changing anything. I will make a motion at some point just to approve.
Well, I've got a broader process question, just in terms of, where are we at in the current strategic plan?
Sure.
And I think, this is maybe an example. Councilmember Shoemaker did not have an opportunity to weigh in because this is a plan that was in progress, but maybe thinking about addressing these issues going forward through whatever the process is for the next strategic plan.
Yeah, definitely. So the next strategic plan starts, it's 2025 to 2030. So we'll start doing the planning for that probably late 2023. And so that planning is going to, involve consultation and interviews, all those types of things that we can definitely pull you all in on.
So about this time next year.
Correct.
And I do appreciate that and recognize, that there was a long process to sort of put the plan in place. As Mayor Pro Tem pointed out, this is the first time that this is in front of me, and so I, have to put my input in and say that I would prefer that we were allocating a different way. If there is any agreement on the council for that, then we can have that discussion, but otherwise, it is what it is. I know Connie had.
I just think with the ION program, as you brought up, I think there's avenues that we can get to doing more repair and getting people into housing and things like that. And I think there's maybe other programs we could look at to really intensify some of that. So I do know that this is code enforcement, it's the junk and debris, and I'm sure other aspects of housing is involved probably a little bit in that. $1.6 million, or is this all?
It's straight code enforcement.
Straight code,
for
okay.
this one, yeah.
But we have to have that in place to be able to make things better for people. So step one, and then I think we need to look at what is our total expenditure. Is there something else that we can do? Are there other programs out there that we can? And I think the ION program, which they were already testing, I think will have a huge impact, a much bigger impact than I think the dollars we probably have initially allocated for it. So that we can do some of the things you're talking about for housing.
I think my last thought on this is just that specifically this funding is going towards NBSD code enforcement, which means it's specifically targeting quote unquote distressed neighborhoods, and allocating that money specifically to rental code enforcement or increasing affordable housing, I think would just be a better use of those funds as compared to code enforcement in the city as a whole. I think that would improve those areas that we're specifically targeting. But without any agreement on the council, it is what it is. And we'll talk about it next year.
I'll move item 43.
I'll second.
Oops, sorry, Jeff.
No, we
did.
We did.
We did.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have started talking like this if we hadn't.
we opened it to the public and waited. We can revisit and give the public a second opportunity after hearing our discussion.
I see none, Your Honor. I'll move item 43.
I think I seconded it.
You did.
So it has been moved and seconded. I'll just say thank you to Councilmember Shoemaker. I think it's important to continue paying attention to how we do these allocations, and particularly bringing up and tying back into some of what we're seeing from a data perspective in terms of the needs, particularly. I know this wasn't all on the shelter piece, but I do think we need to be having continued conversations about family shelters and some of the other gaps that we are seeing. And I know this isn't necessarily the time to do that, but flagging these issues for staff, this is an appropriate time to do that. And I hope staff will engage with whoever on the council is interested in having those conversations so that we can get a head start on that input process.
Definitely, absolutely.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
6 yes.
And that is the end of the hearings at 5:39. There's one piece of the formality that I did appropriately.
Just fine, Your Honor.
And then this will take us back. We have one code section, item 35, amending chapter 114 of the municipal code regarding traffic regulation changes as follows. Council communication number 22-500. A is a code correction to update parking restriction on Boyd Street east of East 14th due to prior street vacation. B is two-way designation of St. John's Road between 35th Street and 34th Street. C is corner clearances, C1, East 12th Street and East Grand Avenue. C2, Sampson Street and East Sheridan Avenue. And C3 is East Wall Avenue and Southeast 2nd Street. And with that, I'll open it.
If there aren't any other comments, I'll move 35A, B, and C, 1, 2, and 3.
I'll second it.
You want to waive the second and third pursuant to Rule 42A?
Should we? Yes?
You sure can,
Up to you.
Okay.
to make that determination.
Yes. 32A. The second.
And I will second that amended.
Any discussion? If not, vote.
6 yes.
Which takes us to item 44, request to speak. And for those persons wishing to speak this evening, under this public speaking item on the agenda, we'll only be calling on those who have registered to speak. All speakers must comply with the rules regarding their names and addresses, or they will not be recognized to speak. Each of the 3 speakers this evening will receive up to 2 minutes each to make their comments. And at the end, the clerk will announce time and the speaker's mic will be closed and we will move to the next speaker. And with that, item A is Adam Callanan.
Hello, my name is Adam Callahan. I use he, him pronouns. I live in Ward 3. I would first like to talk about accessible meetings. We need to have hybrid meetings for virtual participation this far into the pandemic. We know there's still a lot of people that are not comfortable or safe or just can't attend these meetings in person. And opening up these meetings to allow some sort of hybrid option, as other cities and counties have done across Iowa, would allow a lot more people to participate. We also need better transportation to and from with the way that DART runs, and the city isn't directly able to manage that, but that is a concern that I've heard, and I believe the city should investigate that around city meetings. Should also stop bringing the SWAT team to certain meetings when controversial issues are being discussed, and also should provide language and translation services, such as closed captioning and sign language when needed. Should also allow public comment without needing to sign up days in advance of the agenda being out. Not sure if everybody listening to these meetings is aware, but you do have to sign up to speak at this time before the agenda is even out. Would also like to discuss, bring up healthy discussions and input. Council routinely ignores or lies about negative comments that they receive, rather than just acknowledging them and saying we're going to do what the city is going to do anyway. For instance, today in the church item where somebody had directly commented asking for screening around mechanical noise, and the city seemed to act like that comment hadn't been received, even though it was in the agenda. Also, council has been getting incredibly heated when a single member disagrees or brings up something they don't want to talk about. Everybody up here has been elected by the people. Well, the council members have been elected by the people or otherwise gotten into their positions legitimately. And it's concerning whenever just a certain member, any certain member, bringing up something that people don't agree with turns into, just escalates rather than just letting one person disagree and maybe vote no and treating that as a part of discussion. It hurts the city and it hurts the perception when we can't have disagreement.
Thank you. B, Bridget Botkin. Does not appear that Bridget Botkin is here. We will move on to C, Sam Davis.
Howdy, how are you? I'm Sam Davis, and I'm in Ward 3 on Southwest 2nd. Everything you said today, I think we need to get to the core of everything. Why do people not care about their homes? Why should we care when the city doesn't care about us? The noises are insane. The Iowa Department of Transportation doesn't allow modified mufflers on their highways. Why the heck do we? We're woken up all the time. The noise ordinance is not enforceable. Cops have to go around with a decibel meter, like was explained earlier. It's 85, anything above 85 decibels should be, whatever, we shouldn't have to hear it. It's unsafe for our health. Also, the city is not cleaning up parks or common areas, and they're also now blocking us completely from what we do have for the parks and stuff and the bike paths with the levee walls. One of the other things I have to say is the businesses aren't taking care of their spaces. Like 214 Jackson did soil samples, found that it was a brownfield, and failed to tell the DNR, and so we've had all this levee work done by Army Corps of Engineers, and all this crap is flying through the air. Still haven't seen the soil samples. All they did with the city is they just slapped down some grass seed, called it a day. So I just think that the residents make a city, and you're our city council, and I don't think that it's fair that we have to live in this way that we are. I just, please try to take care of the things that are happening now and not add to what is already happening. Listen to the residents, not just the businesses with money or those who make the most noise. Thank you.
I'll move the receiving file 44A, B, and C.
Second.
Six, yes.
Second.
Aye.
How old is your brain?
That's a record.
Oh, that's my
Is it?
timer.
Put